Welcome back into the Reese's Senior Bowl film room, and today we're going to take a look at what the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Missouri Tigers will face from a defensive standpoint this weekend when Auburn and Arkansas travel to these two respective schools. If defense wins championships, both Alabama and Missouri are going to be put to the test. So what will Missouri face in the Arkansas Razorbacks on Saturday? Well, first of all, the Razorbacks believe in a run-first, pound-the-rock philosophy. They have a huge offensive line, 328 pounds per man across the front. They use condensed formations where they try to bunch up the defense and literally run the ball between the tackles on almost every play. Now, Missouri is a team that comes from the Big 12, and they're still trying to make that transition from Big 12 style of offense to what they're going to see on Saturday with Arkansas. So let's roll the tape here. And the Razorbacks in a basic I formation with two tight ends and one receiver on the field. And this is a toss with a counter action to it. And again, Jonathan Williams, the talented tailback, one of two extremely gifted runners for the Hogs, is going to take the pitch and then go back the other way with the football. But the idea is that they are going to play smash mouth football against the Missouri Tigers. Now, the Tigers are not particularly huge up front, so that is an advantage for Arkansas. We talked about running between the tackles. Now here goes a toss to the outside. And again, Jonathan Williams makes a tackler miss and lunges for the goal line. The Hogs try to drag you into an alley fight, and once they get you into their gun sights, they are going to try to knock the ball right down your throat. And there's Alex Collins taking it in for the touchdown. And this is what Missouri is going to face all night long. The Hogs come into the country 24th in America in running the football. They're 16th in the country on third down conversions. So they are going to try to play keep away from the Missouri Tigers on Saturday. So shifting gears to what Alabama will be confronted with in the Iron Bowl on Saturday, a complete departure from what Arkansas does. Here's the Auburn Tiger offense, 3 wide receivers on the field, 1 back, a tight end on the field, 11 personnel. The first thing you have to be facing if you're an Alabama defense is the inside zone read. And there's Cameron Artis-Payne, the leading rusher in the Southeastern Conference with 1,405 yards. And again, Nick Marshall's going to leave it in his belly, but of course he can obviously pull the ball and run it. So the zone read is a play that Alabama will see a lot of on Saturday. The second thing that Alabama must be prepared for is the design quarterback run. And Auburn always looks for a light box, meaning if the safeties are back, they have enough blockers, 5 offensive linemen and a running back, to account for the 4 defensive linemen and a linebacker. And with these slot defenders over receivers, there's going to be an open hole for Nick Marshall. In other words, there's no one accounting for the quarterback. And there he goes. He runs 14, 15 yards before he's ever touched. You look at the end zone, a little fold block here by the center, Reese Dismukes, blocks away, guard pulls around. And again, Nick Marshall, who's almost like a running back at the quarterback position, scampers for an 18-yard gain. So we talked about trying to get the safeties involved in run support against Cameron Artis-Payne and Nick Marshall. When that happens, you leave yourself vulnerable on the outside, and that's the third thing to consider here for the Crimson Tide. The big size receivers on the outside. This is a picture of Sammy Coates, who's going to release inside, and Nick Marshall's going to throw the ball down the field. And although Coates is covered for 90% of the play, he comes down with the football to finish the last 10%, which is all that really matters. We'll see an end zone copy of this. And again, Marshall steps up. He's got a big arm, can launch the ball 50, 60 yards in the air. And there's Sammy Coates going up and making a play for a Tiger touchdown. The fourth and final thing that Alabama has to be prepared for are the gadget or trick plays. And here's a perfect example. Quan Bray, normally a wide receiver, is in the Wildcat. Corey Grant's going to go in his fly motion across the bow of the quarterback. And that's Jeremy Johnson, a backup quarterback for Auburn And again, the big receiver, Sammy Coates, is going to go all the way across the field. This is a double pass. And again, Bama has to be ready for any sort of trickeration on Saturday night in the Iron Bowl. So this is a situation that encapsulates everything. You have the threat of an inside run by Quan Bray, the threat of an outside run with Corey Grant, the idea of the big receiver Sammy Coates, and then the trick play Jeremy Johnson throwing it off the double pass. And for Alabama to get to Atlanta, this is what they have to be prepared for to defend in the 79th meeting between these two programs, Auburn and Alabama.